Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the 36th episode, I think, of the Hewkii and Flammeus show.
Got to fact
Uh,
check you on that one.
yeah, well, anybody listening will know from the name of the episode, I suppose.
You're right.
Um, nice. We had our lovely friend Redmuun on for a second time, which was great. We look forward to having him on many more times. We got into some very deep philosophical, spiritual discussions, including aliens and reptile people.
Conspiracies.
That was
You
interesting.
Here, I've always been more skeptically minded, but I'm also open minded, so it was fun.
Same here. We gave him a fair bit of pushback on that stuff.
Yeah. Which
That
I
was-
think is like
good
it's
fun.
valuable to hear the contrast between the more conspiratorial approach and the more skeptical approach.
Yeah.
So. But
We
it's
also
all in good fun.
Yeah, we also got into some very random topics, such as Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and
Benadryl hat man.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it started off with Star
We
Wars.
kind of went everywhere, honestly, in this episode. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk to Redmuun. I was just looking over because I thought my dog may have been starting to puke, but he's not.
Okay,
So
very good.
yeah.
That must be a blessing for this episode.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We hope you enjoy listening to it as much as we enjoyed recording it.
Yeah. We had fun. And, don't take everything said on this episode too seriously. We got in with some spicy humor in the end.
It was all
We're
for the fun and
playing
games.
around.
No, no ill will intended.
No. It's we had fun out here.
Love and peace. Anyway, yeah,
For sure.
enjoy. Welcome to the show, Mr. Moody Man.
Yes.
Moon
Good to
Man.
have you back.
Much appreciated that I'm even back on. Times have
You know-
not worked out in my favor, which is why it took a little longer, but you know
Yeah,
the
we
deal.
tried a few times to get you on, and it worked out finally.
I finally got all my shit established in my new room.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
moving,
like, there's a
right?
guitar sitting on a plastic chair. Don't mind that. Like, I'm totally like bullshit with that. But
Well,
other than that,
yeah.
got all the electronics.
it's quite the
Right.
blessing for me, and for me and Helge. Just before we started recording, actually, we got some blues. We got some jamming in right before the episode started.
Yeah,
That
I
we
just
did.
popped in, and you two were just going at it.
We were.
Because, like, bro, I was being such an uneducated fuck that, like, I was telling him, like, these are jazz chords, and they're not. Because I'm like, they sound foreign, so it must be jazz.
Bro, don't talk
I
to me
had to,
about
like,
jazz. I'll
uh,
tell you jazz.
Yeah,
God,
you're talking
I-
to a dude that fucking his whole music theory is based on like bullshit. I heard it by ear, bro. I use my ears,
I
as
guess.
they call it.
That's what I've done.
I mean, I'm sorry to do that. It's just like my ego had to. I just.
No, but I
just
love it. I was
finished
like, wow,
my
he's making me.
bachelor's in jazz performance. I have to set people
mean-
straight if they're misrepresenting the genre. It's like cannot
This is where
let
you
that
need
slide.
classes. You need classes so you
I
can
respect
point them
it.
up. Like, well, actually, that's not really jazz.
Actually,
You need to
that's
add the seventh
harmonic
and the
It was,
fifth.
minor.
no, it was the other way around, guys. Mooney was like, no, these chords aren't jazz, and I was like, hey man, jazz is a lot of things.
I was literally
jazz isn't
stating
just
half
giant
facts.
steps. It's,
I mean, just embrace your jazz nerd status. This
Oh,
is gonna stay
man.
with you forever.
oh,
No, but
man.
like, it for sure helps that like I know this dude Flammeus because like now when I have a question that I can't fucking figure out, like I'm like, all right, bro, what is this? I don't know what it is, but it sounds cool. And he's gonna be like, actually, that is.
Yeah, we have a name for that, son. That's always
Yeah.
the case. Those two, that's the backdoor 2-5 right there. Check that out. Great chord progression.
Literally, I was doing fucking harmonic minor. That's what was jazz, by the way.
It's used in jazz though.
A lot of stuff is used in jazz, guys. It's a very broad genre. There's a lot of subgenres.
So you like jazz?
Come on. I'm just being
Take
reasonable.
5, bro.
This is gonna be the roasting episode where
Jesus Christ.
I feel like I'm being
Yes.
initiated into a
I can't
fucking cult
believe
of people that hate me.
The lack of sympathy I'm getting from you guys right now is just astounding.
Nah, it's all in good fun.
Believe I'm being
We're totally
backed into a corner
bullshitting.
like this. Oh my god.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm a hypocrite because I actually like I have been exposed as a jazz guy, so like I technically do qualify as a jazz guy.
You do, man.
Yeah.
In my
But
neighborhood, I did grow up with a lot of like cumbia music, which like, that's like a type of Hispanic folk music inspired by like the German polka. But yeah,
Okay.
I was inspired by that. So like whatever they did with those like classical scales and like sometimes that little harmonic minor like interval, I like to call them like to a dumbass producer like me that doesn't like know shit but just sort of does stuff. I would call it the question mark chord, where it literally sounds like the chord is kind of going into this weird like paradox of being both ascending and descending, but it's like in the form of a question. You listen to like
huh,
Black Sabbath, but Black Sabbath, same shit. It's literally just that chord sounding like a question mark.
interesting. The chord that comes to mind for me, the question mark chord for me, is the augmented chord, where you only have major thirds stacked. Um, yeah, yeah. If you can put it closer so we can hear it better. Yeah, for me that's the question
Midwestern
mark chord.
emo, bro.
Yeah,
Not
this is like this is the dream sequence chord as well. It's like character
Yeah.
says, that sounds like something I said. I said. I said. I
yeah, it's
said.
like the deep conversation where like Anakin takes Padme to like the sand and then he goes, I don't like sand, bro.
It gets everywhere.
It's coarse, it's rough, it's fucking irritating,
And it gets everywhere.
and it gets everywhere. And they killed my mom. And then they provoked me to join the dark side so I could be the chosen one or some shit. And then my son ended up kicking my ass.
Yeah, man. All because of
But I
sand.
kind of let him because he needed to get his little rage energy out on me for not being there as a father.
Yeah, I
Man,
mean, in a nutshell. Yeah, this is a pretty good
we
psychoanalysis of.
that that conversation
Welcome to Star
about
Wars, the prequels, my
jazz
G.
got derailed fast.
Yeah.
And we're
I
already
guess
off to a
I guess we're
fucking
not talking
horrendous
about
start.
jazz anymore. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, you're breathing a
this
sigh of relief. We're gonna
doesn't look
stop
like
roasting.
this doesn't
Oh
look
yeah,
like
so
Kansas anymore.
about the jazz.
Yes, about it. I mean, I'm undercover as a non-jazz guy, but
Oh, we
yeah,
don't
I'm a
got
jazz
we
guy.
can talk about Star Wars, honestly. I'm over it, guys. Don't even.
For a different day, bro. Mandalorian movie ruined a lot of shit for us.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean I'm basically off the train at this point. Like it's
Stay off the fucking
I've been
train.
hurt too many
Oh,
times.
but
Yeah.
Andor, that shit blew my mind. I
Okay,
loved that
don't
shit.
spoil that actually. I gotta watch that still. I have
The
hopes.
the
No,
Darth
I
Maul
wasn't fine. So
show on Disney Plus, 100% the most goated shit they've done since the Clone Wars.
I've enjoyed the whole fucking Mandalorian, Boba Fett, uh, all that stuff.
I have
Love it.
too, but it's like I would have rather it been animated, if that makes sense. Like I feel like
Yeah,
Star Wars does really well with animation, specifically like anything under Dave Filoni. Like it
yeah,
does actually match like the comic book arc and stuff like that,
yeah.
which is really cool. And I love what they did with the Mall show, which not gonna spoil it here. Go watch it for yourself.
Yeah, I
You'll
haven't
really
seen it. Yeah, gotta. I'm a sucker for anything Star Wars that comes out. I'm jumping on it. I don't care. But I mean, I think we can all agree that the sequels were whack. But
But
like, paradoxically, my favorite movie watching experience was when Episode 7 came out, and it was because I think it was the third time I smoked weed, and we smoked weed from a
Jesus.
bong.
And then
Like,
Kylo Ren's just raging while you're high as fuck, bro.
well, the thing is, like, it was in 3D, so it was like the third time I smoked, so I just got completely just in outer space, and going in there with 3D glasses, I was just literally flying in outer space, and all those nostalgia moments coming in, I was like, yeah, I had my mind blown, and then I tried watching it again a few years later, and I was like, man,
Yeah, I probably need
It,
to take my.
it was whack all along.
Yeah, but I was just too high that I didn't see it. I just needed some flying spaceships and explosions, and I was happy in that moment, to be
Uh,
fair.
You know what though? I was like fucking 14 when that shit came out. It was my freshman year of high school, which ninth grade for those that don't call it that. But I was around 14 years old when I first saw it, and like I remember being like my theater kid era, where like the wolf meme where its back's against the wall, and it's like it's used in a lot of quotes that have to do with like how bro felt posting this comment, and it's like that wolf meme. That's literally
Yeah.
me in high school.
Okay.
And I loved Kylo Ren because I was like, I love that he fucks up his room. And at the time, I fucked up my own room when I was mad. So it was so relatable. And I was like, wow, I love relating to the worst characters on TV history.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Proper
funny as shit
emo.
at the time. Damn, that probably sounded better in my head, Loki.
was that was that related to your journey with dark music?
I would say the start of dark music did have a huge part with Star Wars. I'll put it that way. Because when
Oh.
I heard the Darth Maul, it was the Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan music. The fucking God, they're gonna
Duel,
call me a fake Star
right?
Wars fan.
The Duel of the
Duel
Fates.
of the Fates, Duel of the Fates. When I first heard that, and it was like that fucking like A minor kind of like Egyptian sounding scale that they do, I was like, whoa, that sounds really cool. And then from there, as a adolescent child, I found like metalcore. So I found like Parkway Drive, Killswitch Engage. I was like, this is really cool because it has the dark tone, but it's more like melodic. But then I was like, okay, I need something darker. Like I need something crazier or like more descending. Rather, like I like to be left to feel like shit. Is what I was trying to like look for in music. And eventually I started discovering bands like, you know, I discovered the band Death. I discovered, Morbid
Okay.
Angel,
I just
early
started to
like
get
Chris
into
Barnes
death.
Cannibal Corpse.
Okay, good stuff.
Wait,
Yeah.
That was really just popping where I was from. Like a lot of the kids that were, into Suicide Boys also knew of like the death metal stuff. So like all the friends I had that were like the rapper kids in school that,
Yeah.
followed the whole SoundCloud shit, they knew of the death metal stuff, so it was like pretty easy to like get to know different bands and like then obviously from there I discovered like Crowbar, Bolt Thrower, like Stoner Doom. I saw Electric Wizard back in 2018. It was like
That's a
June, I
band
think,
I
at the
gotta check
Wiltern.
out. Wait,
Yeah, it
Electric
was at the
Wizard.
Wiltern in Los Angeles.
Is that the band where they have like the cover art is like some old dude with a pipe or something?
Yeah, it's Stoner Doom, so it's that like
Yeah.
fucking wizard dude with the bong rip. Yeah.
Yeah, that I've heard really good things about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to check that out. And I just recently started to check out Death, and I also just started to notice like because I was checking out some of the SoundCloud rap that was popping like back in 2018, like Bones and Suicide Boys, and I noticed that there's like a lot of overlap between like the that scene and the metal stuff.
They did kind of feel like a duality in the time that they were popular because like that was what I would call like in California the like resurgence of a lot of metal and like the resurgence of like people making bands again and like playing fast riffs. It was
Right,
around the same time that the SoundCloud stuff like for the hip hop and rap was going on. And
right.
they were doing the shit that Witch House has been doing where they were illegally sampling shit.
Yeah.
And Suicide Boys, I don't know if you know, but like Dead Mouse, the producer,
I
he
love that
actually
mouse.
tried to sue them for stealing his song. I think it's Not Exactly, but like they
Oh,
sampled that
okay.
shit. And he was like, this little rap group from Memphis, they stole my song. It was super funny.
Man,
But
I
yeah,
love that mouse. He's such a legend. I
he's
fucking
such a fucking, he's like a necessary prick, as I
yeah,
like to
yeah, yeah.
call
I
him.
mean, it's his whole shtick. It's a part of his character, and he like
He's an intrusive thought.
yeah, he plays it up. But man, I love him as a sound engineer and
His sense of like
melody
chord
writer.
progression, bro,
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
always
yeah.
sold me with him. It's like he doesn't do like EDM always being like, that the stereotypical pop chord progression. He did it in a way where like you listen to the song Brazil, the second edit,
Oh
and then it like
yes,
It
Yes.
follows this like really cool F major, but like
Hmm.
it relies on the root notes being between C and C sharp. So it's like the whole tonality of the pads and the rest of the song is all in F, but then like the bass kind of dances with like F and then C sharp and then C.
That used to be my favorite song of his,
Oh,
like way
so like
back
a
in like 2015, 16.
It was more of an F minor.
F minor. Okay.
Yeah, it was like an F minor, and then it went to like C minor, then C sharp major. That's what I remember of when I
Then
tried learning
C.
on keyboard. Because, like, bro, I probably don't even know shit what I'm talking about. I just know that
No,
that's something what it
it makes
said.
sense. It makes sense. Like that would be that kind
Okay.
of
Yeah, around
instrumentation.
there.
I mean, it was a similar tonality, yeah. Brazil, that man. I
But
used to
yeah,
listen to that
kind of
song every
circulating
day.
back to like the inspo for the dark music. It really, a lot of it, like the vibe did come from EDM and like listening to Dead Mouse, Skrillex, Kill the Noise, Nero, all these like EDM dubsteppy kind of guys. I was like, okay, I really like this stuff, but it sounds too like melodic. I was like, I need something that sounds uglier. Like I need to find music that sounds like how I feel, which at the time was just atrocious. So eventually, kind of got into the death metal stuff. And then like death metal didn't give me like the fix I wanted. It was like, okay, this is chaotic, but like there's no like deep fucking parts that, eventually I found in Witch House.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because it really does like paint a picture in your head when you listen to like the really droning era, like kind of Witch House. Dream Black, he's a big guy. I can give a lot of that credit to, because all of his songs are sometimes they're fucking one note. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll hit a C sub note. It's like a C3, I think. But like you turn the oscillator down 24 semitones, which is 2 octaves. But yeah, he'll drone on that and then pave his entire song around being like this dance with that chord.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what I love about Witch House. Is like you could have two fucking bass notes and make whole songs that are just droning as fuck.
It's kind of you see similar things in Indian music.
Mm-hmm.
It's dude. If you listen to the Peaky or Peakai, I don't exactly know how to say his name, but he does a lot of Egyptian scale stuff, and most of his stuff has like sitar samples.
Hmm.
It'll have really crazy like Middle Eastern psychedelic kind of vibes.
Oh, cool, nice.
So it'll
What?
have like the kind of bongo stuff, it'll take that, and then they'll put like these really, really microtonal sitar sounds.
But
Awesome. What?
what is the Egyptian scale exactly?
I just think of like the Dick Dale song, bro.
Which one?
For
Wait,
me,
what?
it's the Phrygian
If you're
dominant.
playing it on a guitar, it's kind of like so you have like your open E, and then you would go to the first fret, the fourth fret, the fifth fret, the seventh fret, the eighth fret, the 11th
Phryg
fret, and
Phrygian
Oh,
dominant, I
right.
think. Or
yeah, whatever that is. I'm not
Mr.
like I'm
Jazz over here. He
You
give us the
mean
fancy name. Give the
Mixolydian
jazz.
flat 9 flat 13? There you go.
whatever that is sounds
But
fucking gorgeous.
Phrygian dominant is a good name for it as well.
I
Yeah,
know, I
that's
know.
the
Our
metal
boy's
name for
cringing
it.
his ass off listening to me talk about music.
But
So he's
wait,
like, bro,
are you talking about this thing though? This
yeah, the what is it? The fucking Miserloo.
this is like yeah, but this is something different, right?
I mean, it is the Phrygian dominant, but in this case, he
It's
raises
got
the seventh up
yeah. So,
again.
so it's like even spicier. It's got three
It's even
chromatic
spicier.
notes.
Yeah.
It's got the major 7 and the minor second. Ah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember the first time
I
I heard
love that.
skills
I
like
love
this
that sound.
was The Cure. They had a song called "Killing an Arab," which
Yeah.
is it's a political
Nice.
critique. It's I think
I
a
know the song you're
critique of
talking about.
yeah
Me too.
uh,
It's got this cool little bass riff. Wait,
yeah.
I think I
Bring it,
learned
bring it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the falling down scale, I like to
yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
that.
I'm so like lackluster with like musical terms, bro. So I know
No,
everything
but
you're
it's
saying.
like
You're like, damn, you sound like such a dumbass.
No,
no, no,
that's a
no,
pretty
no.
accurate description, actually.
Yeah,
The falling down scale. I mean, it's just a, yeah, it's descending chromatic minor thirds.
yeah.
I love like
I
a
can,
good like chromatic root note in a blues scale. So like normally like the blues kind of just follows like was it fifths or fourths? Just like the fucking 0 3 5, and then like anything that you bar
it,
off
it
that is the same pattern.
it's both. It's like 1 4 5 4 is the classic blues chord progression, and then it's usually the pentatonic scale, and you got the blues note in there, and
That was another big reason for dark music though. Like those darker scales just have always sounded cool to me.
right,
It's just like, damn, this kind of has like, it's not to say that like more upbeat, up-paced, lighter-hearted music has no depth, but for me, the dark stuff's always had like the depth.
right.
Like
I mean,
anytime I
it's
listen to it, like anything with those, the blues scales or like, the thing we were talking about earlier. Like
the
anytime I
Phrygian
listen to stuff
dominance,
like that, yeah, it's like it sounds fucking dope.
right? I think it's interesting you mentioned the metalcore pulled you in because as I understand metalcore, it has like a lot of the contrast. It has the darker sounds, and then it often has like these very melodic and sometimes even like whiny uh
Yeah, the pop punk
choruses.
like
Yeah,
choruses, yep.
yeah, 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 yeah. And it's the contrast, and I've also connected that a little bit to dubstep. If you think of Skrillex, you have these kind of actually he comes from a lot of that kind of emo
He came
world.
from the Hawthorne Heights era of like emo bands. I
Right.
think
So
his
you
band was called like From First to Last.
first to last, I've listened to, and they've got some decent stuff. To be fair,
He was
um,
in Burnout 3, bro, the video game for
oh,
PS2.
dude, that was my dude. I discovered so much good music through that. Like Ramones, I heard from that for the first time.
Jimmy Eat World,
Yeah,
Letter
lot of those kind
Kills,
of
Motion
yeah,
City soundtrack.
a lot of good stuff. No,
Feel
but
like I'm
Yep.
with his stuff, it's like you could hear also like you have the crazy dubstep thing, but then you have these very kind of flamboyant melodies happening in between, which is kind of similar to
100%.
metalcore. Yeah.
Yeah, because like this is for kids that were like flipping their hair, going like this constantly in 104-degree Fahrenheit weather with a hoodie
may
on.
may have done that a few times. Yeah.
in Iceland.
No, not in the heat, but the hair flipping. And like I had a little bit of like it went over my eye a few times. Just like
Yeah, in that little interview you sent me where they were asking, or like it was the dude in Iceland that was like, he asked you like, so what's Iceland like, or
yeah,
something.
right. Oh
It
yeah,
was a
yeah.
video.
I mean, I don't know if I've told this story, but I think I told this
Was
on the
that the
podcast.
YouTuber?
The Joe Goes, yeah.
Oh, come on, bring it on. I don't think you
Okay, so
told it.
okay, I mean it's it's such a funny thing because I this used to be my favorite YouTuber at the time. He was very big. He was blowing up at this time. It must have been 2016. Um, and so he would just go different places and just fuck with people, take interviews, and just mess with people and pull their chain. Um, and he came to Iceland. So like he would travel different countries and like Joe goes to Sweden, Joe goes to France, blah blah blah. And I used to watch all his shit. And at one point I was just drinking, probably smoking, hanging out downtown, and somebody just pokes me in the back, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I turn around, and it's fucking Joe from Joe Goes. And I'm like, "What, bro?" Like I'm watching your shit all the time. And then he took an interview with us, and he messed with us, and we got into the video. Got a few hundred thousands
I've seen a
views.
stray YouTuber once, and it was when I was on a job site. We were on our way to like go change this Ring camera at this guy's house, but we saw FaZe Rug filming a snake just like on the side of the road.
What was he doing with the snake?
He's like, there was just like a wild snake because we were in like a rich gated community in California. I think it was like Rancho Santa Fe, somewhere around there. But he was like, we seen this guy filming like something on the ground. Then as we get closer, my friend Rafa, who's in the car with me, he's like, dude, that's fucking FaZe Rug. I was like, bro, like the guy the YouTuber guy, and then he's like, yeah, and then we yell out the window like FaZe Rug, and then he's like, oh hey, and then we were like, he was literally that day we checked his story and we were like, bro, that was the snake he was filming
Oh shit!
because it was
I
on the
don't know the
ground.
name though.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was either, but it was just wild because we caught like a well-known YouTuber just like in the wild.
While he was catching a snake in the wild.
While I'm on my way to a job site, sweating my fucking balls off because my
Yeah.
fucking work car didn't have any AC.
Oh man, yeah, we don't know these troubles over here. It's like it's bloody damn cold now, just end of summer, and it's like, man, you feel like it's just,
It's like the peak
winter
of
again.
summer in Tennessee.
Oh shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's
It's
like actually getting to the peak. It's weird because like I would say September or October is like the peak of summer for Tennessee.
I mean, I feel like it should be the peak of summer here, but it sure as hell ain't. It feels like it's just
Is
ending.
it, wait, is it over already? No, it surely goes on a little longer.
No, no, no. It will go on. It's just like it. Really feel like it's like it. We had our moment in the sun, and it looks pretty bleak for now.
Gosh darn. Yeah, I'm suffering
Yeah.
through like 40 degrees here. 30,
Iceland does
40.
this sometimes, where it's like like some summers you're lucky, some summers you just get almost no sun, and it's just red and gray, like almost for the whole summer. You feel like,
I'd be fine with that personally.
hmm?
Yeah, well, that's
You
Reykjavik. You need to try Akureyri in my hometown. You get a lot more sun there.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I
That's
have heard.
so that's like the complete opposite side that Helge is on, right? Like I know he's in Reykjavik, and then this one is like more like to the
It's
left if you're
all
looking on the globe.
all the way north, all the way up in the middle of the
Okay.
country,
Yeah.
all the way north, and Reykjavik
So
is in the southwest.
southwest. Yeah.
Don't know if my girl's family is gonna watch this, but like shout out to Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah, you have an
They
Icelandic
all
girlfriend
found out
then.
about the first podcast, and they're like, "How the fuck do you know anybody from the exact town that
Yeah.
we're in?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Small world, G."
Yeah.
They live in Reykjavik?
They literally live in Reykjavik.
Yeah, but
Uh,
that's the capital. So it's
yeah, man,
almost everybody here lives here.
that's the least surprising one.
Yes.
But I mean, your capital is the size of like a medium-sized California
But it's
city.
still it's still got like a third of the population, you know. It's like,
Yeah. I thought it was even more than a third of the population. I don't got the numbers, but
well, I'm not sure. Might be. But
yeah.
yeah.
Bro, one thing I did want to talk about on this podcast was I've been having like the weirdest fucking dreams. Like
Okay.
for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
objectively no reason at
Okay.
all.
Let's go.
That's a super interesting, the dreams in general. Let's go into it.
So this one, obviously my dad's been dead since I was 11, but I seen him like in a dream and like I was on a train, going to some futuristic city. It literally looked like straight out of like a wave music Spotify visualizer. The way they portray like the futurism with all the lights and the LEDs and whatever. It looked like that. But then it was like my dad, I was like, bro, where have you been? Like you've been such a fucking bum. 'Cause like in the dream he didn't die. Like in that reality he just like left or whatever. So I was like pissed off at him because I was like, where the fuck did you go my whole like teenagehood? And then he didn't even like respond to it. But one thing he was bitching about in the dream was that the chip in iPhones with like the conspiracy that they fuck with your brain, and like that's how it like curates algorithm and things like that. And just like he was complaining about something in smartphones that do that, and I was like, I've never been part of the smartphone conspiracy shit because a lot of it is so far fetched. It's like you're giving these idiots way more credit than they deserve, bro. They don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about us. But yeah, it was so fucking weird. I don't know what the spiritual side of it was. It could have just been my brain making shit up to give me like an entertaining movie or whatever. But since then, I have not gotten more than like 4 hours of sleep in one sitting.
Since
Wow.
then.
That's heavy.
Yeah, like literally, it's been like 2 weeks. I have not slept more than 4 hours a night for the last 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
I keep
Wow.
waking up at like, but like when I go to bed at 3 a.m. after like I get home from like a ride or something, I'll sleep till 7, and then I'll just like beaming awake. Like it's literally just like you're looking at a fucking Volkswagen headlight. Like that's what the fuck my brain just goes from asleep right into shit.
Wow. You
I
don't
don't
feel
have like a tired phase. It's like right into it.
and but do you get tired over the day, from the lack of sleep?
At times, yeah, I would say like I have to like definitely make sure my hydration is up there. to like avoid that, or like try to keep busy to like not fall asleep. So I'll try to go for a walk, or I have the electric scooter now, so I will go for a ride. I usually go
Nice.
up to like the local parking garage because it's really fun to set lap times down.
Hmm.
But it's been a really weird, like spiritually couple weeks, I would say. Lots of weird
Yeah,
stuff
that
taken.
I feel
And
like
the
dreams
fact that
dreams can.
last podcast I was bitching about, oh, tornado season's coming. We never had a tornado season. Not a single siren went off. And this was after like months of just like meditating, praying, whatever you want to call it. Just like, please, no tornadoes. Like, for the love of God, I've had enough fucking horror with them. Like, leave them the fuck away from me. My town, not a single siren.
I guess they heard you. They're like,
Hmm.
okay, we'll just. He feels passionately about this. Like it seems to really bother him. We can just
Yeah,
like
it's like, we'll
mess
leave them
with those
alone.
other
This
people. Yeah, okay, like we cut him a little bit of slack. He's gone through enough. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and spiritually, there's this idea of like oneness with like the mind controlling matter for me, where like whenever I thought, whenever I like when I got like stoned or whatever, tried convincing myself that there was a God, because like I genuinely was just like, I just need to know, bro. And then, I started going deep into that, and it's like, actually look at the whole fucking universe. Zoom the fuck out. What is it? It's a giant fucking eyeball. That was like what solved the psychosis inducing thought. And then once I sort of accepted the eyeball per se, that's when the weird dream started. It was
Oh
just this
damn.
weird turn of events.
what does
Man,
it what does it mean that the universe is an eyeball?
So, you know how like an eyeball, like you don't know light or darkness without a visual perception, aka an eyeball. We think of the eyeball as like the closest sensory to awareness because being able to physically see, like you have the advantage of navigation. Like you look at like more blind species that have to like hear or smell their way around, and they move almost two dimensional. It's very like line based. But if you have like an eyeball, you can move your head any direction. You can walk any direction. You know what I'm saying? Because like your eyes are leading you to the understanding of what your body is naturally training itself to. And
Hmm.
then that's kind of what I started thinking about when I was like deep diving this idea of what we think, God is. And it's like, how about actually nobody on this fucking planet knows shit about how a God could even work? And the fact that people are saying like, I know God. God is telling me shit. I'm like, all right, bro. If I said it was aliens, you'd call me schizophrenic. So like, mythology at this point, G.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what you're saying with the eyeball, it does connect with a lot of spiritual traditions have this concept of the witness, that underneath everything there is like this consciousness which witnesses everything.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
but
watcher.
in that sense, it's not really eyeball, it's consciousness, it's symbolic for
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah, but I relate very much with the kind of the symbology of the eyeball. I've had similar experiences
Yeah,
where the
that's it. The
eyeball has
eyeball is
been
just the symbol. I don't mean this literal at all.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've had very similar experiences where the eyeball has been such a central theme, and it's often kind of I've had like amazing mystical visions where I've seen what's traditionally called the Illuminati logo, the triangle with
Yeah,
the
it's literally the eye of God, though. Like if you think about it,
right. Yes,
it's like literally
yeah,
what it represents.
and the thing is, when that happened to me, I remember one of those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of those experiences like that emerged in the center of my consciousness, the triangle with the eyeball, and then like there was like these branches that branched out forever,
Was it
almost
like
just like
the
tree branches.
upside down or
No,
like
it
the
was
right
right
side
side up.
up?
Yeah, and some people may say, some said to me like, it's you've probably just like seen the symbol a lot and you've recreated it. But the thing is, like in that experience, it felt so much more primal than just something I had taken in from outside and
It
kind
was
of
probably more like a
recreated.
familiar remembrance.
It felt even more like archetypal. It felt like this was like a fundamental thing, not like it was just a memory or a recreation of my mind. It felt way
Oh
beyond my
fuck yeah, the
personal mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
upside down
It's like,
triangle. Also got the septagram, 7 point star.
okay, I'm not as familiar with that symbol, but that one, oh, he's got, everybody's got the bling except for me.
Oh, this is another pendant I have, but I'm sure you guys have seen this.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the eye is a very common symbol used for consciousness.
And it's funny because we look into like the ancient Egyptian description of, the eye of Ra or the eye of Horus, right? This is literally the exact way the two hemispheres of the brain connect. So it's like the eye is like the seat or like the chair of the soul per se. But then like this symbol, even though it does look like if I put it up to my eye, like there's that sacred geometry look where you can see the bag under my eye, you can see the bag under this, but it's also the division of the two hemispheres of the brain.
Right.
And it
Right.
seems like the eyeball is like always been there. It's like always been spoken about, and it's always just been something that is a manifestation of belief to some degree.
You lost me. You lost me. How is it? How is it? How does it represent the separation between the two hemispheres of the brain?
So if you Google a picture of like the 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 like structure where the two hemispheres of the brain connect, what's in the middle is it's like a vein or like a muscular pattern that looks very similar to this symbol. So like you have this little bean inside your brain, you have like, this is where the hemispheres divide, and then this is where the two spinal regions connect, is like
Yeah.
these bottom parts.
I've seen these pictures. It does line up perfectly. I mean, who knows if that was what the Egyptians were referencing, or if it's just a kind of a.
Or maybe they did autopsies and they found out.
I mean, I know they did a lot of stuff like that.
But even if they did autopsies, that still proves the fucking point. It's like they
Yeah.
investigated the brain, they found that symbol, they realized like, wow, this has some divinity. So they, unfortunately, I think a lot of things with history get wiped out when like old languages get wiped out because
Hmm.
it's probably like, I mean, hell yeah, I assume like the better half of Iceland probably just speaks English. Nobody probably speaks too much Icelandic.
Oh, we all speak Icelandic.
Yeah.
But like, do you guys speak commonly like in a public setting, like English or Icelandic? Like, what's the usual trend to expect?
Icelandic.
We always,
Okay.
yeah.
But all of us, like the younger generations, like absolutely everybody can speak English to almost the same level as Icelandic at this point, and the older generations they can speak English but not as good. But it's like it's gotten equalized to the point where it's like for a lot of people, if maybe even most young people, it's almost like a second first language in a weird way because we're so much on the internet, spending more
That like,
time there
yeah.
But it's still a second language. It would never occur to us to speak English with one another, unless it
yes,
were
but
for
it
our
would
podcast
feel very
episode, in the case of me and
natural.
him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, unless when you're talking to the fucking Americans on your podcast, bro.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
well,
But like, this
I-
also proves my point because when, time goes on, so much time passes that the Icelandic language gets forgotten. Like a lot of the Native American languages, a lot of the South
That's the
American.
fear.
but
I mean,
wait.
How much folklore could get lost with language?
totally.
But
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the point I'm making with the Egyptian
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, totally.
But the point before isn't like it doesn't seem particularly okay. Say the Egyptians discovered this pattern through autopsy and they therefore made a piece of art that was symbolized consciousness and the connection of the spine to the eye or whatever. It doesn't seem particularly surprising that people would come to that conclusion from an autopsy. We do experience ourselves as being roughly somewhere in the head. And what do we find when we go into the head of a person when we do the autopsy? We find the brain. And so that's where that's where the soul must be located. It would be a very logical way to think, we all experience ourselves as somewhere behind our eyes and between our ears, more or less.
And I think that's the
Depends.
symbol with the main eyeball, and that's
Yeah,
like
but
kind of where that vision I had came from because
yeah.
I
But
felt
of
the
course there are
familiarity.
of course there are states of consciousness where just to respond to Hewkii real quick,
Yeah.
where
I
you
know.
don't experience yourself there, but most humans most of the time are in that place.
Been in my feet a couple times.
That's where you're experiencing yourself right now, Hewkii. What are you talking about?
That's nowhere.
Anyway, sorry, Mooney. Please continue.
No, you're good, bro. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the eyeball, like the relevance to it. I look into like, you know, ancient Orthodox Christianity. I look into like the Torah. I look into a lot of paganism. I look into a lot of these symbols, and there's always something to do with some sort of eyeball. And that's like when I did see it for myself. I remember being on a fucking sick one on mushrooms. I took this big ass fucking thing. It was like a fucking chode of a thing, and it was white and blue. I took that one. It was like an albino penis envy, but it was a really big stem.
Yeah,
And
penis envy,
that
they're pretty
feeling,
damn strong. They're damn strong. I think
Yeah.
they're
they're
almost as strong as
fucking
Icelandic.
nuts.
Yeah,
Penis
They're
envy.
literally like,
yeah. It's a Freudian concept, everybody. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
they're not for the weak, bro. They ain't for the first timers. Like,
Uh,
but one thing I will say is like I remember the feeling of that fucking divine eyeball or whatever. That was prevalent on shrooms. Like that was very like familiar. It almost just felt like common sense when I was in whatever plane or whatever, conscious plane that was. But like looking back at it, it's like you get like these little shit out of trips that you feel like you know it, but you can't quite take it back with you because of how fucking absurd it sounds.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it like when you try to explain it, it's just completely ridiculous. It just sounds like cockamamie babble bullshit. But when you're there, you know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
afterwards you're not in the same state of consciousness, and it doesn't
Yeah, it's almost like if you were living in a
go pocket the
two-dimensional
same way.
cartoon plane, and then you actually got to access the third dimension, and then you go back to the two-dimensional cartoon plane, or you're trying to explain to all the other two-dimensional characters, like, hey, there's like a third dimension, and there's no
Yeah.
way for you to convey that because it's not even, it doesn't exist on that plane. It's kind of a similar thing, I'd say.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
yeah,
that's always
everybody
been
go.
such a strange journey, though. Is like you think of the nature of, like, not even the purpose of consciousness, like, whatever, everybody wants to have a purpose or whatever, but like, I look into like the nature of it, like the causality, how it like evolved to be such, or like where it stemmed from. And it's just such a weird thing because you look into like the history of the universe and like how actually irrelevant we are based on the size of the universe. And then you're just like, whoa, dude, that's crazy that like little bits of whatever you want to call it, like the source or the eyeball, they always seem to come up somewhere. It's like an inevitability, maybe. And that's
I mean,
kind of
even
like where my
if you
thought
even if you
was
think
left.
of galaxies, it's kind of a similar kind of a
Yeah, they
pattern.
follow the Fibonacci sequence,
It's the
oftentimes.
spiral. It's
Yeah, the Fibonacci.
yeah, lateralis by Tool. Yeah.
Great band.
Okay,
Love
so
Tool.
so the eyeball is really just a symbol or symbolic for consciousness, and that's what this is all about. So, like in that case, I mean, I understand, if you saw the symbol of the eyeball and you're relating that to consciousness, then, the word eyeball has probably taken on a new meaning for you. But for me, like, I'm going to still continue to think of it as just consciousness, and that being the point. Like, and you could think of the universe as
It's
well.
definitely consciousness, though. Like, it's undeniable based on what we know of consciousness.
Mhm.
Because consciousness is an eyeball. You know what I'm saying? As ridiculous as it fucking
I
sounds.
mean, if you say so, you can believe what you want.
This is gonna be the cover of the episode. Consciousness is an eyeball.
With a picture of you with your eyeballs all like, enlarged.
Or you just, like, fucking copy and paste, like, this one and put it, like, right there.
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Universe is an eyeball with the Illuminati as well on your
Yes.
forehead.
Yeah.
The interesting aspect of the Illuminati is where, like, them and, like, the Freemasons and a lot of these, like, groups, where they got this info. Because, you look into kind of like their history. The Masons were originally stonemasons. So they were like, they built shit out of stone and whatnot. But they were inspired by the pyramid builders. All of them. The Teotihuacan ones in Mexico, the Egyptian pyramids, like, all of them. There's something to do with, like, the structure of a pyramid, the conscious eyeball, and then, like, this sort of mathematical sequence it seems to have within reality. And like the more I got into like looking into that shit, originally I thought all this shit was so like made up, bro. Like when I started hearing about a fucking soul catcher on the moon and being no hell is actually you're just coming back to Earth, bro. And like the Greys run the fucking moon, you know, like you get into that shit and it starts sounding a little bit too funny, but it's like weird because within these crazy ass theories, it's like there's always some little weird truth in it.
Okay,
Oh,
wait.
you can
Do you
find
have
it.
a theory to present us with?
Yeah, there was
Oh
this
my
last.
god.
Yeah.
If I like, I'm not saying I believe this one at all, but this one
Okay,
is
let's
like one
go.
of my favorite fucking ones to
Fucking
like read
spicy.
about. So there's in the alien folklore is called the Men in Black. So they're these like tux guys. They go around scaring people with their big suits and their fake hair and whatnot. Like apparently they're described to have really big glowing eyes. They have like hair attached to their fucking hat. Like as that's how ridiculous it looks. And that they don't blink. They don't. They look like they're wearing plastic skin. It's like dressing up as a shitty Temu budget fucking human costume.
Are you talking about people that actually exist right now?
This is the theory. So I've never ever experienced them personally within all the alien deep dive stuff I've ever done. I've never had like a face to face perception with them, so I can't say if they're real or not. I'm not discrediting whatever people have said happened to them. I'm gonna leave that up for debate. But there's a theory that these people are tied in with what's called the Benadryl Man, aka like he's called the Hat Man or the Benadryl Man, but he's like this trench coat,
Yeah.
Spanish hat wearing fucking dude that is just a fucking void.
He's
And
featured
they're
on my next album. Yeah, he's featured on
let's
my
go,
next.
bro. The Hat Man's in the house. Let's get it.
It's like the name of the song, and then Benadryl Hatman visit. He comes in there in the end, and he fucks with the song.
Fuck yeah, that's definitely a quinky
Yeah,
dink, bro.
yeah, go ahead.
But no, like
Coink?
yeah,
Did you
there's
say
like
coinky dink?
yeah.
You did the thing? Oh my god, I didn't know anybody else did that thing. Awesome.
What, quinky dinking?
Coinky dink. Yeah, I thought I invented it. Apparently not.
I speak boomer because my parents were boomer. That's all I could give you. I watched
Um,
Leave It to Beaver growing up, bro. But yeah, there's like this theory that like the Hat Man and the Men in Black are like connected.
what?
And
Why are these men in black? What are they named after the dudes in the movies? What is
no,
this shit?
dude, I saw this Ancient Aliens episode where they were saying like, okay, these Men in Black and the Hat Man are connected because they wore a hat. It's like, okay, bro, what a wonderful analysis you came up with,
Wow,
my G.
incredible.
They must be the same because they're wearing a fucking hat.
They, they couldn't have got this. They cannot have just on their own discovered hats. They must have gotten the idea from each other. There's
And
no other way.
it's just too funny that like the Benadryl Hatman is part of some of those theories because it's apparently just some figure that some people say when they
Like
take too
a
much
void
Benadryl.
shadowy kind of thing.
Yeah, what is Benadryl again? It's like an allergy medication?
Does he resemble the bad guy in Silent Hill? You know, the triangle guy.
I've never watched Silent Hill, but like I've heard
Mm.
his other name be like because like in America, like we have like the crosswalk guy walking sign that appears on the sign when it's telling you to go across the street. They've called him Sign Guy. That's another like word I've heard for him, but it's essentially the same figure. It's like a trench coated void
Okay,
with a hat.
Yeah.
this guy's called like Pyramid Head. He's got this like pyramid helmet on, basically.
I wouldn't. I think the Benadryl Hatman is like a little bit more niche.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
I don't think I've heard of him.
yeah,
It's
so
a dude.
you get
Like
to
a
know.
lot of the shit you're gonna read about it is
I'll rue this
total
day.
horse shit, but
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious when you deep dive it. Like how ridiculous like the conspiracy people have went into it. They're trying to say like,
yeah.
oh, this is like an alien race that's connected to like the fallen angels of Enoch. Like the level of theory they go to with it, it's just like, bro, I think it's something way dumber.
Oh
This,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if
I
he's
mean,
called the Benadryl Man, that
yeah.
means Benadryl was involved when you saw him, G.
I mean, it's the human capacity to weave narratives around
yeah,
absolutely everything and create stories. I mean, it's actually kind of
Humans just do
amazing.
drugs and make shit up, bro.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
basically.
yeah, it's incredible, incredible, ungrounded speculation. Just like We're not even basing this on reality anymore. We'll just make some shit up and then we'll believe in it, I guess, and spread it.
Yeah, because it's preferable to not knowing, because then you're in the unknown. You're in
Let's
the
go back to the dark
eyeball.
ages, guys. Come on.
We're in the eyeball. We don't like the
Yeah,
eyeball.
the big
We want
eyeball
our Benadryl Hatmans and the Men in
Yeah,
Black and
come on.
and the eyeballs.
UFOs.
We don't want to be
Bro,
conscious.
this has to be like a fucking AI TikTok video somewhere.
Yeah, right. Man, I mean, it honestly brings joy to my heart to know that the Benadryl Hatman is like a centerpiece of some big conspiracy thinking. It's like it's so ridiculous that it's
Dude, some people have gone as crazy to say like he's the owner of the gray aliens. The gray aliens are a bunch of robots that just operate on the moon, and that like whenever a human soul like dies, they like send it back. Like, nope, you thought, bro.
Wait. So are there any of these theories that you kind of buy into that you think make sense?
oh,
So as an
I want to get
American,
into
I'm
that.
just gonna speak on behalf of like the Americans that are realizing the same shit. But like we're obviously ran by a multi-thousand-year-old cult that eats children. And the reason for this, we have the most processed food. Like I work at a fucking chicken manufacturing place, by the way. And you can literally like whenever we get like the shipments of chicken, I'm not gonna say where I work, so I don't get sued, but fucking like we get these shipments of chicken, you can see the needle marks. Like they don't even hide it. And then like on top of that they say, oh, it's flavor injections. Well, what the fuck do we need flavor for? Our ancestors didn't inject flavor into shit. You know what I'm saying?
wait. So what do you think they're injecting in there?
Um, Something to do with like, you can call it dumbing down the consciousness. Like whatever the fuck they're doing is literally why like America's in this fucking absolute turmoil of just
Wait,
like
don't they
the
just pump?
religious, political people, and then like the outcasts, like they're never gonna get along because they're eating the same bullshit that makes them ridiculously
But
dumb.
wait. Don't they just pump water in there to make it a little heavier to be able to sell it for more? Is that not
That's
what
the
they do?
theory. That's the theory. And yes, I do think it's still possible that that's what it is, but I'm saying the only reason I believe this is my own personal experience with this and just seeing how when chicken defrosts, normally like if you pump it with water, it leaves like a lot of juice and whatever. And like, you can tell because it'll be like a pinkish colored water type substance, especially when you defrost it. But what happens with like quote unquote restaurant grade stuff is like when you get it, you have to cut so much of the fat and all this other bullshit off, and then like you're noticing these needle marks and just how big these fucking chicken breasts are. You're just like, dude, why the hell? Like, if you cook a whole chicken, the breast is no bigger than like if you were to connect like your fingers like that. But then you get these chicken breasts from these restaurants that are like that fucking big, and it's like, how does that make sense?
They
Okay,
pump
I mean,
water in there.
here's my take on this. I mean, I think a lot of the kind of malicious intent stuff, it sounds a little bit too elaborate for me. Like what sounds most reasonable to me is that people want to make a lot of money, whatever they can do to make their product make them more money at the like they don't care about the expense on the consumers as long as it makes people more money. Like I see that more as a driving factor more than we're deliberately gonna do stuff to dumb down people. It sounds like a lot of hassle, like a lot of coordination is going to be needed, a lot of hiding, a lot of different parts need to make sure that it doesn't get leaked out and exposed by journalists and whatever. It's like it's so elaborate, and for me, it sounds so much more simple. The Occam's razor solution is just like, yeah, people want to make money, especially in America, you live in a hyper capitalist society where it's just profit at all costs, and then you get lower quality because people, as long as they can make more money, it's we can sacrifice quality. Um, if
Well,
we can
that's
get a
also the thing too, is I don't really think your theory is wrong either. I'm just saying like we both understand two sides of something that is still weird to begin with. Because like why the fuck why would you even like okay, so the We the People quote in America was based on the Iroquois Native Americans, which basically their tribe was just talking about the people can govern. themselves. Like society has reached that point with that tribe, and society will reach a point again where it can self-govern. So then you look at like these people that are taking control, right? And like, dude, when I go to Walmart and I read some of the fucking shit they're putting in it, like the pesticide stuff, and like I worked at the fucking big chicken in America manufacturing facility. Not gonna say the name just to avoid that, but I worked at the big one. I saw what they do. It's disgusting. It's
Yeah.
fucking horrendous what they're doing to it. And the fact that like, oh, you have to not say shit. So like, you sign this, and if you disagree with this, we fire you.
Hmm.
And it's like, why do I have to sign a contract? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's so fucking good, and no people have bitched about it yet, why am I signing a contract to not make a fucking scene about it? You know what I'm saying? That's where that belief into that theory comes from. It's like, what the fuck are they doing? And just because I don't know, me lately, I don't know if this is like, I mean, it could just be health related, but I'd like to think like also when you sort of open up spiritually and you start really questioning what you're putting in your body, like, bro, pork and like some red meat give me the literal worst acid reflux that feels like you're gonna die. It's like that fucking golf ball in your chest, like heart attack, impending anxiety, fucking acid reflux.
I've had those. They're a lot of
And
fun.
then I share these facts with like I got one friend in Germany. I got another dude out of the country Georgia. I got just everyone everywhere. And then when I tell them this, they're like, "Yeah, our meat doesn't do that." And then like
Yeah.
I remember sending one of my friends like a picture of how big the chicken breasts at Walmart are, and like he was like, "Dude, that looks fucking illegal."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, "You're telling me, bro?"
But wait, we can. I want to bring this back to the fact that this is still all compatible with the Occam's razor theory or whatever the phrase is. I forgot. Is that the Occam's razor?
Yeah. Occam's razor. Yeah.
Occam's razor.
Oh, I
Not
think.
too familiar with this one.
Yeah.
Because like this is all still compatible with that point of view that this is all just because people are trying to make more money. It's still. I haven't heard anything yet to convince me that this is some kind of elaborate conspiracy of people trying to dumb us down.
I think the money is the tool to dumb people down because all throughout history, there's always been people that didn't have money were dealt the poor share of shit, always trying to like cause problems because like, hey, you don't give me fucking money, so why do I have to listen to you? And you look at like all these like rebellious stories, and then you find that even though the currency, the money, inherently not good or bad, is being dominantly used by like a negative force.
Hmm.
It's like I
I
don't
mean,
think
yeah.
money is good or bad by nature. I think money can be used for
Yeah.
great things. Like imagine being able to put, your parents are dying and you put your mom or like your dad in the nicest hospital because you can afford it. So it's not
Yeah.
to say all money is evil, but I will say
No.
like it's a dominant desire for a lot of negative shit. It seems to tie itself in with a lot of the negative.
I mean, if you really boil it down, how I see it is just humans have a tendency for selfishness because you need selfishness to be able to survive as an entity. You need to have like a self concept and a want to maintain your survival. And if you're a little bit more if it's conscious than just being a total egotist, then you actually care about the survival of your family. And if you're more conscious than that, you care about the survival of your community. Then you go bigger, the planet, all the
Humanity,
way
maybe then,
humanity,
yeah.
then the whole cosmos. And this is kind of how you could kind of, grade how conscious people are, all the way from just complete narcissists to like an enlightened being or something. And I
Yeah, it's
think
all it's all that polarity or like the duality where like you have like 2 degrees of one thing. It's not it's like that it's one in its nature, but it's 2 degrees of one. Kind of like
But
cold and hot, how they're both temperatures, but they're just 2 different degrees of it.
sure. I mean, I don't really see it in those terms because I think in one case, like one a fully enlightened being is definitely more obviously more conscious than a toddler that is only capable of caring about its own needs, and it should, and that's just the natural kind of progression. And then you
Yeah, it's the
mature, and
developmental stage.
yeah, exactly. But what I mean is like I think that is basically what explains a lot of these things is that you have just underdeveloped humans that have not reached a level of spiritual maturity in a way that makes them care about other people. So they hoard stuff and they do everything for their own self advancement at the expense of everybody else.
Or, you
And when
know,
you have
them
a
there's themselves and their tribe, you know, they might be doing
yeah,
it
and
for
their
their
family.
family
Usually,
as well.
it's yeah, their family
Somebody
basically.
gets excluded.
Yeah, and everybody else can die as long as. And you see a lot of those billionaires. They're building bunkers,
For
underground.
what?
Yeah, because if the apocalypse is coming, they sure as hell they're not gonna, feel the effects of that. They're gonna go in their bunker. You know.
Yeah.
But then this also starts to coincide with like a lot of dark theories about the human trafficking issue. And like,
Oh yeah. I mean,
that
yeah.
theory that the power people eat the blood of children and like Monsters Inc. and all these Disney movies were trying to show us. But like,
Hmm.
so maybe like, I think we're in a
Yeah.
timeline crisis at the end of the day. It's like humanity versus itself in a ton of ways. It's
Sure.
like the ego of humanity versus the compassion of humanity. Because the compassion is like the common person that doesn't have all the ego, aka all the money. So like they're basing their morality like more on what makes a functioning, thriving community because they're more local to being in these grid boxes, aka neighborhoods, and being put in these little areas, saying this is where you could live, this is where you're allowed to live. So you have people like that. You have the little guy, but then you have like the power. And no matter what, it's like no matter how you word this, there's always something versus the other thing. Spiritual people call it like the ego versus the self, like the self being the knower, the ego being the delusion of thinking but you actually don't know
Hmm.
shit. It's like that
Hmm.
that constant battle. And
But
hell,
would
this
you
can
not
even
say
go back to
that's
Star Wars. It's the same shit. Like Palpatine played both sides of the Clone Wars. He orchestrated the entire Clone War to put himself into power. And you look at fucking America right now, bro. You can't tell me this shit
hmm
ain't a fucking joke.
I mean, like, but yeah, I just think it's so complex, all of this, and I think it's like what you're saying, like the illusion we think we know. I think that's at play a lot of times with conspiracy thinking is jumping to conclusions. I notice a lot of people doing and not appreciating the full complexity of like how a whole uh, huge thing like the United States functions. That you probably, I don't really think that there's like one cabal that controls everything. I think there's probably a bunch of different competing interests that they're they align on some things. They probably are at odds with other things, and I don't see it as a monolith. I think it's probably way more complex than that. But who
It's
knows?
definitely like poly. It's like multiple. I will give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We'll definitely check the box on that one. But
yeah,
regardless, the force of the poly still comes from one. And it's like the natural, you know, opposition force in which life flows because you look at like the universe obviously the universe will harbor what we call life because the inevitable consequence of nothingness is everything
yeah. Hmm.
because nothingness by definition doesn't exist so what is left is existence. It's like
Hmm.
existence has to be, but then you look into like the nature of going into the duality aspect of it of like there always has to be a dark, always has to be a light, but then nobody really measures like why. I think nobody's really truly put it in words that have ever gotten to me of like what the nature of the two are. Like we say, oh, it's the objective oneness. It's like fucking religious people. They say, oh, God works in mysterious ways. So it's like obviously they're saying we can't answer this, but we know it's tied into the very force of good. So it's this forever loop of it's like a black hole of evil and good choosing to revolve around whatever the fuck those forces are governing.
Hmm.
And I kind of like the when I read a bit about the Torah, which is like the Jewish texts before the Talmud. That's like biblically what Jesus studied. I just got really interested in it because like there was a lot of like astrological points of view in it. But the one thing they do, instead of the Ten Commandments, they have 612. Like they have
Hmm.
612 commandments, and their star is the symbol of Saturn. But then you look into astrology, and it's like, okay, the Saturn being the governing ruler or structure slash discipline, in all people. And it's like you don't have to really like believe in astrology. Like this isn't idolizing the planet or trying to make the planet be some being. It's just that like these physical forces exist in like the most minuscule fucking ways. Like they exist in how some plants are poisonous to humans, and then they can have a greater scale of like they influence the timeline of Earth based on like the planetary alignment. And then you look into like what we identify as the age of the universe, saying like, oh, we think we know it's this old, but there is no facts. And then it's just like this whole lot of like, I don't know shit, but I still kind of want to know why this shit that doesn't technically exist controls me.
Hmm.
That's kind of the point I'm getting at. It's like that's where I've been. Is like what's the source of the control? What's like I wonder where I just want to understand it because I believe
I, I,
understanding is the key to
I
adaptability.
want to contest the point that it's not a fact that the universe is a certain number of billions of years old. I do think that's been quite accurately proven. But yeah,
But I often
Well,
question like our level of measurement. It all comes from the thinking you know.
well, yeah, but you can't just go and completely discredit that. That does have a certain sense, that does have a certain value. Looking at the universe in that way, you can't go completely into the chaos and all the way away from the structure. That's
here's the
that.
the postmodern. We're getting into postmodernity. It's good. I was recapping some of that stuff. It's very interesting. I recommend everybody check out. It's a way of thinking or a way of relating to the world that's been demonized by a lot of people, but it's hella fascinating. Everybody should check out postmodernism and contrast it with modernism. Leo Gura
I
has
mean,
amazing
are you
stuff
saying
on it.
I'm being postmodernistic?
No, no, you were taking more of the modernist side of
Right.
the fence, and Mooney was coming in
Like
with the
the
more postmodern.
Because postmodernism is about relativism in
Yeah,
that.
essentially
That's
there
what
are no
you.
facts and there is no one true reality. It's just a matter of perspective.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no, it's
yeah,
totally all the way onto one end of the spectrum, but there is the opposite
yeah,
end of the spectrum as well, and it is useful as well. And when you go
yeah, yeah,
completely into chaos and you leave groundedness behind, that's when conspiracy theories happen, as far as I'm aware. That's just like,
But this is also where like conscious transmutation comes into play. You look into like the last episode where we are talking about how darkness can be transmutated into light. Like
mm-hmm.
someone who's naturally harboring of, or being capable of harboring dark shit and then, trying to make something light out of it. Like it's the exact same by nature. All it is just a different form of transmutation. Because like, yeah, you definitely need the measurements to get closer, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still that whole like, okay, the measurements can get you close, but they can never quite nail it.
No,
And that's one
yeah,
thing
I
we do
totally
know
agree with
because
that
we
one.
could. This has to do with like that ego of being like, okay, well, I statistically proved it based on a completely finite way of measurement.
yeah, but I mean, that doesn't allow you to go all the way into the other corner that says, I will accept anything without any evidence.
Well, no, you need evidence because evidence, no matter what, that's like the magnifying glass of
Well,
finding.
I haven't gotten any evidence yet for these theories that you've presented.
The one form of evidence I have is just like personal experience, which I think like that can fly under the radar in a lot of cases because it feels like any crackhead can just say, "Well, oh, I saw that," and then boom, because they saw it, it's true. Like doesn't make it true. It's just like
Well, a postmodernist would
I've
disagree.
just I've just seen so much like I've worked in like restaurants for like quite a few years, and I've just seen so much food coming in that looks altered because like I've seen how the raw animal is cut, and then I see how the meat is taken from the animal. But then
But
I see the shit they're giving us, and it's like that's definitely
I
not
mean,
how that's supposed to look.
but does it not all line up with again just the capitalistic tendency to make wealth? Is it does it really have to be a conspiracy?
Well, that okay. So that's really funny because like that's what I call like not in like a bad way, but like I call this the underthinking way. It's like the simple like yeah, it makes sense because it's for money, and that's 100% fucking true.
I mean,
That
that's
I'm
the
not even
Occam's
denying
razor.
what you
Yeah.
said. It's just like, bro, I love that absurdity and just like current relevance can coexist, but still both be so true in so many ways. Because I know a lot of conspiracy people. I don't believe in the flat Earth shit at all, but I've heard people make very strategically convincing points. It's not that I believed it, but again, this is what I'm just doing to Flammeus here is I'm just providing like a, hey, you probably won't believe this, and that's fine, but
Yeah,
this is what I can
yeah.
explain.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I don't think we're necessarily contesting that there's a lot of really fucked up and weird shit that is done to food products, especially like in America and such. I think maybe it's just a matter of what is the intention behind it. I'm personally very slow to believe. I tend to first look for people trying to maximize their self-interest before I look for like massive malintent that, a desire to hurt others. I mean, it's kind of an indifference towards others, but I see to me there's a difference between like,
yeah.
we're doing
It
this.
seems like a
Yeah.
very unnecessarily negative way of reading the situation.
But those can
Yeah,
be still in some cases there are people that have, very malicious plots. Um,
I look
um,
at social media as a malicious plot in a lot of ways.
I mean,
Because in like
maliciousness
the
also comes into marketing because marketing can become very malicious if you take it all the way
yeah.
to
I
its
mean that
ultimate
again.
conclusion.
That's profit driven. You know, taking
Yeah,
people's privacy away from them on social media is so that you can have ads that are more targeted, so you can sell more stuff.
and
I mean,
tapping into people's insecurities and stuff like this.
it's just plain and simple human nature. I don't know why you got to brand it as a conspiracy again.
Yeah,
because
what would be the difference?
a lot
Yeah,
of the
yeah, sorry.
older folks, specifically the boomers, they like to believe in neither of our points.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like imagine that. Imagine they didn't believe you saying that these people are self-interested because they're just trying to benefit themselves with money, and then they're not listening to me saying, "Oh, they're actually putting shit for like to basically for also what I'm saying is for money because you look at all this bullshit they put in food, boom, it sends you to hospitals. Then boom, big pharma gets paid for your fucking suffering. So yeah, it is money. 100 fucking percent from both the conspiracy and the skeptic side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but again, the only difference I suppose is like Helki said, like for us it would be more like just the natural way this interplay, this huge network of humans interacting with each other in the market, and in real life. This is just a natural conclusion of human beings being in this environment, and you're saying no, there's one person at the top who's orchestrating all of it, and I think that's nonsense, and that's why I want to make that very clear, I suppose.
Well, I didn't hear that point, but you know,
I wouldn't say it's one though. I would not put it to a single thing. Like I wouldn't put it to a single person, but I would put it to at least like some group.
hmm but
Because
yeah,
obviously a
okay.
successful business needs multiple people. That by statistical evidence can be proven.
But
You
I'd
know,
say
you can't
even
run
in
a
those
business by yourself.
cases, I think even in those cases, a lot of those people disagree with each other, and I think it's giving humans a little bit too much credit to assume that a small group of people can exert this amount of control over reality. Like sometimes I think of like humans trying to control reality. If you think of like sand hill falling down, and humans are like trying to like use their hands to kind of direct it a little bit in the direction they want, but the overwhelming complexity of the sand is just way too much for any one person to control. So I see
Yeah,
it
it's like
as
trying to
nobody's
swim
really.
against a fucking river. It's like trying to
Yeah,
swim
I see it
against a
as
tide.
nobody's really in control. Like a certain amount of people can have a certain amount of power to direct reality in the direction they want, but I think reality is so complex and people have such a hard time to get along and orchestrate things because they all have their own self-interest at conflict with the interest of the group. So I think it's very hard to put this kind of monolithic perspective on there's a certain group of people that are controlling everything. Like that's not how I tend to look at reality. But I think smaller maybe subsets of realities where people do manipulate things hardcore to try to, get their agenda forward. But the thing is, yeah, I think a lot of the conspiracy thinking for me, it's too simplistic. People are jumping to, to conclusions way too fast without really looking at all the possible factors and saying, I don't know. People really want the exciting solutions. That's the thing. People want to know the thing that not everybody else knows, and they have some kind of special knowledge. Um, I think there's a lot of that stuff at play with, but I'm not saying they're all wrong. And I think a lot of conspiracies, they have like a grain of truth, but then it becomes like a narrative, and it builds up and gets spread around on the internet, and it becomes an identity for people as well. So I mean,
Here's why I think many people have a conspiratorial mindset, which maybe this will help explain me a little bit better.
hmm
So very from the get-go, right in kindergarten, first grade, we were told from history how America became America. But the thing is, it's a proven lie of the way they're teaching us versus how it actually happened. The way they're teaching us, oh, Native Americans shared their land with us, and then they agreed to this treaty. Well, for one thing, they didn't share shit with us. We conquered it, unfortunately. Then we gave them smallpox blankets. Then we put them in proprietary small communities where income is low, and then so like that from the get-go, that being statistically proven, because I mean you can literally look at like any old form of like war in America. It was always to like keep some capital or keep, in words that like other people would say, like keeping that profit or keeping that owning value, or like the attachment to the material. That was the stem of what got America overtaken. And then because of that materialistic desire, they influenced the story of how America became America. Because they can slightly lie saying like, okay, we'll make it easier for kids. Because this is like, we shouldn't expose kids to the dark things first. And it's like, okay, lie number one. And then like the common material lie number two, obviously Santa Claus, and all these fucking mythological things that come on holidays. That's like, so already as an American, your form of education and your form of like what you're told to believe based on how fun it is for your parents to lie to you is your common way of thinking until you figure out it's not. So then because of that, you don't trust shit.
right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100% agree.
Which,
But
yeah, it's like,
yeah,
I would never raise my kid on this fucking belief process of believe without knowing. It's like, no, don't do that. Fucking, I'm just gonna tell like my kid like no Santa, no nothing, because I'm not gonna have you mistrust every type of information I give you after that, because I'm not gonna feed you full of lies and then be like, oh well actually I know that was a lie, but this is truth. You have to believe that. It's the exact same shit with like anything.
Interesting. So I was raised an atheist. I was not told there was a God, but I was told there was a Santa Claus when I was a kid. And so this one time when I was like 6 or 7, I guess, I walked. I decided because we lived in a small town, a very pretty religious town in Iceland, when I was that age, and all the other kids believed in God, and I was like, okay, must be a cool dude. I'll believe in God as well. So I decided to become a Christian when I was 6.
So you're
And I,
tapering your beliefs to your community.
but it wasn't a belief, It was just like I'm gonna be like everybody else. um, but
Did you do the detachment thing where like you just say that you believe in it just to make everybody not question why you don't believe in it?
no, 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 no. No, it wasn't anything like that. I just didn't know what it meant. I was just like, hey, yeah, that might be fun. Sure, I'll believe in God. But I just said it. I didn't know what the fuck I was saying really. Um, so there, the interesting part of the story is that I went like a couple weeks later, months later. I don't know how much time passed exactly, but I was still around 6 or 7 when I walked up to my mom and I was like, hey, uh, there is no God, is there? Like God doesn't exist. And she was like, I don't think so. Probably not. And I was like, huh. And I went back into my room. I was a loner kid. I like to play alone. So I just went back into my room, played with my Legos with the door closed. And then about an hour later, I came back out and I was like, wait, Mom, I think the tooth fairy might not be real either, right?
You
Isn't
figured
that-
it out.
And she was like, no, and she felt horrible because she hated lying to me as well. She was this big. Her conscience was really getting her. And then I went back into my room, and about another hour later, I came back out, and I was like, what about, no, Santa Claus doesn't exist either, does he? Does he, Mom?
And then it's like this psychosis for a child of like, oh my god, everything's a lie.
But it wasn't anything like that. I exaggerated it, but I shouldn't have, because I didn't freak out at all when I was proclaiming that to Mother. I was just like, huh, all right. Cool. Because those things seemed very clearly false to me, you know. It's like there were other things that my parents told me that seemed very clearly true. So I still trusted my parents, you know, like don't put your hand on the stove or some shit like that. I was like, yeah, that was good advice. Thank you guys. There was just these couple of things that parents tell their kids for a more quote unquote magical
Like
childhood
spoon
or whatever.
liquor, bro.
And it's like
Fucking spoon liquor.
He's an OG thirstlicker.
oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
we don't have
me,
one Santa, we have fucking 12.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
12.
13, dude.
13, yeah, sorry, man, it's been a
Come
while.
on, dude.
Yeah, sorry, I fucked that one up.
But anyway, I was gonna say, you know, it's still made for a fun childhood for me. And it didn't damage my childhood in any way. The Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy lies. I was just like, yeah, I get it. You know, get it, parents. You wanted to give me the childhood that you learned.
I mean, I've heard the perspective from people that it could be better for children's health not to hear lies, even if it's like a well-meaning lie.
Man, okay.
Yeah, because I'm a dad, so why would I lie to my kid just to give them like a form of temporary comfort that might not even last when they develop their own critical thinking skills?
Well, I mean, but it's just for fun, you know. It's nothing serious. It's just like a little magical story of a unicorn, you know. And then you find out it wasn't real. It's like it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like
I mean,
you
yeah,
go to heaven when you die. That is cruel, and you go to hell if you do something. If you don't behave,
Or you don't believe in God.
It's pretty innocent, like this Santa stuff, I guess, compared to some of the other things. But I mean,
some of it was brutal. You know, back in the day, it was really used to scare kids. You know.
yeah,
It was used to scare countries into like following a king.
Oh yeah, true. In the
Like,
case of Christianity,
it was
yes.
used for colonization, bro.
Yeah, but I
But
wanted
that's
to
like
expand. I wanted to expand a little bit on what you were saying. Like growing up and seeing like all those things you were told were liars. They just started to see the cracks and everything. And I just wanted to point out that there is a common mistake that I see happen for people that they notice a lot of the mainstream stuff and things they've been brought up in are full of lies, and then they just adopt something else. Like, oh, well, the mainstream media is telling me lies. Well, Alex Jones, he's got to be telling the truth. So
Because he's one guy on the media that you swear not to fucking use.
yeah. So it's like, yeah. So it's unfortunately it happens that.
Well, the whole goal is to just like, bro, it's like nobody knows shit.
Yeah.
So don't follow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
think for yourself.
Yeah.
Figure out what the fuck keeps your life going on. You know, I'm not even gonna
Honestly,
say like,
dude, in that way, getting taught about Santa Claus, getting lied to about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy is like the training stage, you know, in your childhood.
True.
It's like
Well,
just
yeah,
sets
make
you
a
up.
pretty good kid for it.
yeah, it's like dipping an oil stick in dumbass juice.
Yeah, because you get to go through it and you're like, oh my god, not everything mom and dad say is true, you know, and then
you
there's
figure it out, and you're like, oh no.
there's so much, yeah, there's so much other stuff that they said that wasn't true either, you know, and that society said and stuff you got to deprogram yourself.
But then there's often a lot of stuff there that's valid as well. So like, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and just run into the open arms of Alex Jones. You know.
But then it's like, it's funny because like, even though I say all this conspiracy stuff, honestly, the bigger reason why I probably like lean towards the belief in a lot of it is because I don't use social media and I see how fine my life is going and how much in turmoil everyone else is, like everyone around me. You know, there's like, on my break at work, I don't even fucking look at my phone half the time. Like sometimes I literally just sit there and I space off and stare outside, or I just go outside and sit on the chair.
Respect, man. Yeah, it's
And
like
then like
nowadays people look at you
social
weird for
media
doing
has
that.
just curated this fucking like idiocracy to
Yeah.
me, where people have become so detached from shit that actually matters that all they're left to think about is why the fuck they're here. When in reality, if you're doing enough shit in life, you never think about why you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hell yeah.
when you achieve the state of nirvana, like the Dharma state or whatever, you're not thinking about it. Like you're just like,
You
I'm
don't
here.
need to know to smell the flowers.
Fucking facts.
Don't need to know to smell the flowers. Yeah.
Absolute facts though. Because I mean, bro, I go ride up a parking garage with an electric scooter and I have a fucking blast. Meanwhile, people are on social media fear mongering every single thing they read into. And it's like, yeah, I've read into the conspiracies and I've made up which ones would make sense to me, like in some other evil force's way of thinking. I'm
It's
like,
the
okay, that's
hat, man.
probably true. You know, and that's fine. That's just subjective belief, but you know, that's why we're human, is because we only just believe shit. We don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing in the world is that we don't know shit. I love the idea. I love everything about it. I love the fact that like we are so fucking not where we think we are. I guess
Okay,
you could
but
say it's like absurdism is the word I've heard for it.
I mean, it's very postmodern adjacent. But I would add a different perspective to that as well. Is that even if your ego self only believes shit and doesn't know shit, that there's also a deeper part of you that knows itself. So knowing is like it's definitely something that's
That's the I. That's the consciousness.
valid pursuit of knowledge. So I mean, yeah,
So yeah, because you do know everything perfectly right here, right now. Like consciousness is picking it all up. Like I'm seeing the computer, I'm seeing the pixels on the computer, I'm hearing the sound of my air conditioning. You know,
yeah.
like
I mean,
I
there's
don't
one
need
thing that's
words for any of this stuff. You know, it's all appearing
yeah,
immediately. I don't need
it's
to.
pure knowing. And there's one thing that's always undeniable is that I am. Like I know this in every
Yeah,
moment. Like
and
you
not I think with
cannot.
therefore I am.
Yeah, no, I am. It's yeah. For me,
That's a big
the bedrock.
representation of like that's a big reason like the eyeball probably fucking appeared for me for all I know.
Right.
It's just the eyeball being the I am.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
It's
eyeball
just
just represents the I am.
it's the
that's
only
yeah.
thing you can't even doubt.
It's just a physical manifestation of a brain trying to create an image for what I am is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
it's
you could see
symbolic.
it the other way around, you know, that consciousness is what brings physical reality into being, you know, not really, well, not anything could exist unless, or, you know, truly exist unless there were something to experience it. In other words, you know, the good old, did a tree really fall in the forest if nobody saw it? Um, although in that case, obviously, yes, but,
Yeah, because it's dead when you get there.
yeah, totally.
It means it was a background task, bro. It just means
Exactly.
your
Simply.
RAM wasn't up to date.
But if you interpret it like that, you'd be missing the point, of course. It's
Yeah.
No, but it is funny because like I think like that all kind of ties into like absurdism in a way, where it's just like everything is just ridiculous. Everything has way too ridiculous of mainstream connotation, and like we don't know shit. And I kind of like that point of view because like it leaves
Yeah.
because if you think you know, like they always say, the master that thinks he's the master is never the master. That's like a quote I've heard that would sum it up. Where like the endowed Qing, like Taoism, he who knows doesn't talk. He who talks doesn't know.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
I would say it's
Then
similar to
Ragnar said,
Taoism. I have like a
"What is
Taoist
both?"
absurdist belief system.
I have a
Okay,
Taoist absurdist beliefs. I like that.
that's
Yeah, the
pretty cool. Yeah.
absurdist reminds me a little bit of the Hindu perspective, you know, seeing it all as a big drama, a big play, basically. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's optimistic nihilism, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a catch-22, but
It does.
I
It's
said that to
yeah.
a history teacher that I was an optimistic nihilist, and he, for some reason, was laughing his ass off about it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what's the oxymorph? Is that the word?
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron, isn't it? I mean, you got
Yeah.
two contradicting words there in one phrase.
Yeah, but what you're saying is like that, um, a big part of the nihilism is the meaninglessness, and that's also a big part of, pretty much, at least, if you think of Buddhism and Taoism, there's no inherent meaning to reality and stuff like this. I think there's like an overlap there. And what nihilism does is that it projects a negative meaning onto meaninglessness. So it's actually not meaningless, it's loaded with like pessimism and
Yeah,
darkness. So
more like worthlessness. They
yeah,
put more like the value to it when, value is ascribed. Like we ascribe meaning to shit.
yeah. Yeah, and if
It's
you
kind of
have
like
a
if you were
state
to
of
like
total meaninglessness, it's there's nothing bad about it because
if
it's
me and you
meaningless.
were
This
both
couldn't
to
be
look at a
bad.
photo, like if me and you were both to look at this photo of my cat, obviously I have a connection and a meaning with this cat, but to you, this is just another fucking cat.
Hmm.
And it's like
Well,
the sort
it's
of
not meaningless
meaninglessness
to
from
me
it,
because I know it's your cat.
but still there's that sense of like not direct connection or experience. And that's
Yeah.
sort of
Hmm.
what differs the person whose cat it was to the cat whose it was not. And this is what I always try to get at with people. It's like the funniest shit about consciousness is like this idea that meaninglessness or nothingness has to be bad because it subtracts the consciousness out of the equation. So you look at nothingness, right? Like, say, atheists believe you die, absolutely nothing happens, like, you're just nothing, which, like, we were nothing before we were born. But there's this common, like, argument towards atheists that's like, why does that nothingness have to be bad? Like, do you think you're just floating in darkness, like, still conscious? Like, you're not even conscious. You don't remember before you were born, so
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a perfectly good point that, I didn't exist for billions of freaking years before I was born and I don't remember suffering one bit. So,
Or
and it's
you
funny because
always existed.
say you did exist, like your consciousness isn't to the point of remembering that you ever have. So it's still always like that universe is mental like Kybalion point of view, or like the consciousness is like the perceptual universe.
mm,
I mean, I think it's kind of a limited uh, definition of consciousness that a lot of people have, and the consciousness is just like that you can see and hear shit, and you have some kind of an experience. Um,
I mean, there's no equation for how consciousness even exists. We have
mhm.
theories. We have what we like to call facts, but we don't have any like hard proof evidence of like how consciousness even works.
yeah, because I think Alan Watts put it best when he said, I mean, maybe he was quoting somebody else actually, maybe this is older than him, of course, but he said you can't understand consciousness using consciousness in the same way that you can't bite your tooth with your tooth or touch the
Literally.
tip of your finger with the tip of your finger because there's you got to be able to see it from the outside to be able to understand it, but you are it. It is what you are. You cannot conceptually step outside of it and measure it from the outside. You need to be able to compare it with something else,
Hmm.
i.e. nothingness, to be able to measure it, but nothingness isn't anything, so you can't, like, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly my point too. It's like, and this also I can agree with you on like more of your like statistic fact hypothesis or like way of thinking, where we know in science like a particle can change form when observed, meaning that particle before you observed it did not look or exist like that the second you observed it and it changed its form. And it's the same way consciousness kind of like seems to be, where there's this long human debate whether, reality or like consciousness or conscious perception is a projection or a perception.
Hmm.
And I kind of
And that,
lean more
yeah.
towards the idea that it's like a projection.
that consciousness is what brings reality into existence and projects it onto
Yeah,
itself.
because if you didn't have any consciousness, what would you know of reality or the reality you think you know? At least with consciousness, you get slightly closer, even if not the truth at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, at least because without this is what I was saying before, just does anything really exist if there is no consciousness to experience it, Or like I mean a more poignant way to put it would perhaps be to say like it wouldn't matter that anything existed if there weren't any consciousness to experience it. It wouldn't make a lick of difference if anything existed if there weren't anything to experience it.
Hmm.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. And I feel like a lot of people miss that. Like
Mhm.
they're so busy like thinking far ahead that they kind of just miss the now.
Hmm.
And that's like one of my favorite things about conversations like this is because like you learn that, even though I have a different set of principles with the conspiracy shit, I still have that same like consciousness is still the matter of all.
Yeah.
Consciousness is king, yo.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the
yeah, actually.
creed.
I love the uprise of like the modern Cathar Christianity or Gnostic Christianity that's like saying like, oh, Jesus was like a spiritual teacher.
Yeah. So
Like
good.
I love that they're trying to ascribe anything they align with like to what they want to believe and then going around saying it.
I mean, yeah, I shan't say, if there's any truth to that, the originators, the pioneers of all the world's great religions, whether they were actually on it and then they just got misunderstood and misinterpreted throughout the centuries and institutionalized and everything got out of
It ties
control.
back into forgotten language, dude. Language is the key to understanding. So
Hmm.
when a
Well, I
culture or a religion believes or they have a belief that they speak a certain language that we don't know anymore or like got lost with time, we can never truly understand it. We can think we do, but there's no person that spoke fluent whatever that language was
but
to
I
be able to.
mean, there's also no evidence that Jesus actually performed miracles. It could potentially all be made up. Was the other option I was going to present.
Me
It might be
personally,
that.
just because like you
What?
definitely said you have like a atheist upbringing, I lean more towards the atheism.
Hmm.
Like I am not a believer in any divine prophet. Like hell, maybe fucking sorry, my mouse is fucking glitching. Maybe like say he did exist. I don't think he was a magic man.
Hmm.
He's no
Yeah, yeah.
different than us, He'd be no different than us in human flesh and blood. And then I read about like there's like two Bible quotes or two biblical things that get so left out with like the modern Christianity or like the monotheistic religions is that they say like, okay, well, once upon a time Jesus said the kingdom of God is within. And then you put God as consciousness, so that means the kingdom of consciousness is within you.
Hmm.
Which technically would make more sense if you were thinking about just like the nature of or consciousness rather than the faith of fear.
Yeah.
That fear of like you
Yeah,
need the
exactly.
faith to back your fucking alignments or like your
Yeah,
alignment.
because some of these Jesus quotes do line up, strikingly well with the New Age spiritual teachings. Um,
I would say old, like even like the old spiritual teachings, because the Egyptians have this book called the Book of the Dead, and it's basically like guidance for what happens after you die. But
What?
like what we statistically know now is that the brain releases DMT. It's just the guide to a really long trip.
Well,
yeah, it
yeah.
all comes back to psychedelics eventually on this podcast. That's
Yeah, it's inescapable.
Look at your tapestry and try to tell me and try to ask the question, why does that happen?
what the
Yeah.
hell? Where did you get that? This is like the final scene in The Usual Suspects. Where you're like,
Bro's shirt and hair tie literally match his fucking tapestry.
Uh,
You are in a
oh,
complete like contrast to your background.
thanks man, thanks man.
And then you're like, so how did psychedelics get brought up again?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Wait. I wanted to ask you about one thing because you said you don't believe in like divine prophets, and yeah, I'd agree that I don't believe in like people basically walking on water and stuff. Um, until I see it. But would you not agree that there every once in a while come along just extremely conscious people that just have their consciousness dial just turned up to 1 million for whatever reason. It
from the get-go.
could be genetic, they're just born, or they just have a certain connection. The universe aligned specifically for that person to be just extremely conscious. Would you not think that those people have just something to offer? And even if they're not like walking on water, literally, I mean, I could see, those kind of people being what turn into prophets and those kind of figures.
I can sum up two things that I believe would tie into the modern perception of really conscious people: ADHD and autism.
True.
Like, I've watched ADHD people really lock in whenever they're doing something they care about, and it's like, bro, they're in a complete flow state. Like, it's like the fucking force of the universe working through them to figure itself out, and it's like you're seeing it in real time. So that's why, like, because like, you look at like the show The Good Doctor about the autistic doctor, but he's fucking phenomenal at what he does. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of brilliant ADHD and autistic people that you would think were supernatural if you didn't have like a real word to tie to them. So say Jesus just for shits and giggles, say Jesus was actually just highly autistic.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be the Jesus was autistic theory? Are we going there?
Is this a theory? I didn't even like.
No. I was just messing around.
Oh, I was like, if this is an actual theory, like, god damn, but like,
we're pioneering this on the Hewkii and Flammeus show.
Yeah, bro, Jesus was autistic, and actually autistic people are the real children of God. So get fucked, normies. But then you look at like we all like if you think about autism as a spectrum per se, say that's like how you see it. Everyone has their own form of autism. You have that one quote unquote autistic or weird trait that you do without knowing, like, really thinking that you do it. And then when we look into the nature of Jesus, Jesus was just a guy that had a lot of fucking logic, and then when he tried to tell people, they like made up a bunch of shit about him. And I think it's because when he gave the village, the loaf of bread that fed the whole village or whatever, he definitely gave them shrooms. They tripped fucking balls. They realized this fool actually knows shit about stuff. And then they were like, alright, bet. So then they started taking like everything he said as this fucking divine message. When it's like, actually, no, that was just common sense, bro.
Yeah. Man.
Well, what we call common sense now. Because miracles stopped happening when cameras got invented.
No, I'm definitely on the same page there. I, don't particularly believe in walking on water and stuff like this, but I think even beyond ADHD, because I know I have, pretty high levels of that stuff. I would definitely say there's a difference between that and when I've gone and done 5-MeO DMT, which just completely shatters your ego into a million pieces. I'm thinking like that. Like if there's people that have existed throughout history where that is the kind of their baseline state, just completely infinite consciousness. And I think I definitely believe that there have been people like this.
I do kind of have a perception of this, and it's based in reincarnation because, like, bro, there was a kid. He was obsessed with like specifically these like World War II or World War One airplanes, and like he knew like the models without really knowing how to speak yet. Like he was able to point like at certain things in these war things that his parents had, and that like in their bloodline, he was saying he was a reincarnated fighter pilot that went down. And he was able to like go to the crash site. He said where everything landed. Oh, what's up to the homie right here?
Yeah, he's hanging out. He's been.
Yolk.
Yeah, he wants to go.
But there's like
walking a bit.
He like was able to pinpoint like all this shit that happened in the accident that was very specific to how one dude that actually flew in the military like went down, and he had no prior like basis of knowing. So I think like if we were to go based on like do conscious people just pop up sometimes, like they might not be conscious in the way that you think they are. These could just be like, this could literally be evidence of reincarnation.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
that's kind
Maybe
of what
you're
I
right.
see with it because I look at these reincarnation stories with the lady that said she was an Egyptian pharaoh or like goddess in a past life, and then was able to find a bunch of shit located below the pyramids, like with like an archaeological group. Like I look into those crazy stories that like are still unsolved mysteries. They were never ever solved. They're just like some people don't believe it, some people do, but either way, it's an unsolved story that there's no set definition to yet.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I
it's
tie that into
definitely
conscious
not.
beings.
It's not evidence, certainly.
It's what I would call metaphysical evidence, because like metaphysical just being like a different belief or like a different more.
I mean, it's an indication that it might be true, but there's no hard evidence. Like this is conjecture. This is
Well,
speculation,
with the
really.
Egyptian lady, she did find like a couple of very specific Egyptian like things beneath the ground.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
undeniably strange. That was undeniably fucking
yeah. But
strange.
again, maybe somebody planted that stuff for her to find, and it was all an elaborate conspiracy, or something. There
Who's
are.
the conspiracy
See,
theorist?
now he's taking the
No, no,
conspiracy route, and I'm going with the wow. This
no.
actually could have just been.
All I'm doing is saying that there are other possible explanations. I'm not saying that is plausible, but
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
no,
just saying it's not.
there could be a million fucking explanations for everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
we have shit called the egg
um,
theory with the universe now. There's fucking tons
Right.
of possibilities. But it's like when I do see the reincarnation stuff, like it's specifically when I look into like
but
the
you get it
details
for.
of it.
Don't you get it from a third party though? Like, are these even people that you know? Isn't this just something somebody said?
They're more like people that participate in these interviews, and then like the second that their story gets too big, they completely shut the story down.
Who is they?
They.
They.
Are we talking the
They.
Illuminati right now?
Oh no,
Okay.
not at all. It's because like
It's the Hat Man.
It's the
I'll say
Benadryl.
this, like people that do share like a very uncanny point of view on social media about certain countries that they think America is ran by, they get shut down real quick. They get put on
Yeah.
a watch list. Like they get a fancy name, which I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna say because we don't I don't get political, but I will say
Yeah.
it's very weird that they get a specific term when you go against them.
I mean, okay. Yeah. I will. I will
Hewkii
actually get.
probably knows exactly what the fuck
No,
I'm
no.
talking
I
about.
will get political because it ties into this thing. What we're talking about is that, people having control over aspects of reality and stuff like this. And I think,
But
there
it's just
are.
aspects. It's not
Yeah, but yeah,
reality as a whole.
that's what I mean. I think there are lobbyist groups in America that represent the interests of Israel. There's a lot of money there, um, and that's not all Jews. It's very popular these days for people to be like, "Oh, the Jews."
Oh, that's
I
the
was, I was, I
Conservative.
dumbass way
was,
of
I was,
thinking,
I
bro.
was talking to a guy the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, man, dude, the Jews, like, you gotta look into who has all the money, man. It's not a coincidence. It's the Jews. It's like it's all over. But there are people that, you know, with money that want to advance the interests of Israel, and
That I
they
think just
do.
happen to be Jewish.
I mean, sure there's an overlap, of course. Like, it is a the religion was definitely a big part of the founding of that state, but that, of course, does not encompass all the people of that particular faith. Um, but yeah, there's people there with money that do want to influence things, and they're active on social media, and they try to sway things, and I think even buy up certain platforms to make sure that what's posted on there is more in line with what they want to be seen. So yes, I think aspects of reality do line up with some of those more conspiratorial ways of thinking, but I don't see it as like an all-encompassing thing. I think it's like
No, it's
definitely
completely subjective to a specific
different
point. Yeah.
different interests. They're fighting for prevalence, and they're doing pulling different tactics, and they're competing with each other. And some of them have more money than others, which gives them a head start. But it's very complex. But yeah, yeah, the if you want to know about this, go look up APAC, the American Israel lobby, and you can see the amount of money that's coming in there. It's of course, yeah.
Check every, every business, every bank that America consumes the most of, owned by them.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say Jews. I'm just going to say APAC, Zionists, whatever,
Hmm.
Because I know a great producer, Al Mugafex, from Israel. Probably
Hmm.
doesn't give a shit about the whole Zionist
Yeah,
shit. Doesn't even come off as like religious Jew. He's just like from Israel. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And there's plenty
yeah,
of people like that. That's like if I was to say, oh, Iceland's on the shit of the radar, I'm going to hate all Icelandic people because of what their government does.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Like, basing your perception of a country off of a government is a really stupid way of thinking, in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah,
But then
totally.
also, I think you also, we might get a little controversial here, but who cares? If you look at like if a government is doing some very bad shit, and opinion polls show that 90% of the population are supporting it, then I think you can't just make a clear-cut distinction just between the government and the people, because to some degree the government is a representation of the people, which is not the same as saying you should judge everybody from that country for the actions of the government. But sometimes you can't always just make a clear-cut distinction.
Okay,
Well, for
cool.
me, this all comes back down to language. The right language and the right words for a person specifically to be tapered to hear is going to more than likely get them on that side. I think, sound and just energy manipulation. Sound can be manipulated. Therefore, language can be manipulated. Therefore, language can control. Language is the underlying ruler of power.
You mean that Israelis back their government because they all speak the same language?
I
What are you
wouldn't
saying?
say language, not language in a sense of what you speak, but language in a sense of what you entail from your leaders. So, like, me as an American,
Mm.
don't give a flying fuck what Trump says. I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention to the diarrhea shit that was floating around on Twitter or X or whatever it's called with his poopy pants and whatnot. But, like, a lot of these people in these countries, like, you look at, like, their media and, like, what they do have access to, it's all, like, propagated. It's completely weaponized. Especially with, like, unfortunately, the thing here, which is Israel, a lot of them are very under the impression that the Israeli government is working in their best interest. So, because of the language or the energy manipulation with sound and just tapering like ways to get people on your side by using the word,
Yeah.
it all comes from that language. And this is
Yeah,
where
but
I think is the
yeah.
conflict of all humanity came from language. Because a bunch of people, after the whole like Jew hate thing came out, they're starting to like go into the Hitler speech translated to English, and they're like, "Oh, quote unquote, the Austrian painter guy was right," and I'm like, "Bro, this is proving my fucking point about language. If you
Yeah.
just knew, if we had one universal language, miscommunication would become obsolete, and language is the current division of humanity."
Well, we have a universal language. It's called music.
That's all I'm saying. Because I could love
Yeah.
somebody I could love somebody from Russia. Like I could love their shit, and we don't even speak a dime of the same fucking language. But I could
Yeah.
at least feel his music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
But I don't think language is what creates the division between
Well,
humans.
I think it's a
No,
tool
it's the
that's
easiest
used.
weaponization.
Yeah, it's a tool for division, and like you're basically just talking about propaganda,
Because
essentially.
propaganda is language. If
Yeah,
you spoke,
propaganda. Yeah.
think of like telepathically. If you were to speak telepathically in whatever connotation you want to put it as, there is no miscommunication because it's straight from you. It's straight from like the source, not the brain going to the filter, then the filter having to make up how to say it, and then the thought might not even being communicated, but just completely. This is what the words sort of line up to mean,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
this is why I think like a lot of these a lot of the Jew haters, they're just as stupid as anyone else. Like you look at them, they're literally basing their whole political opinion on shit they saw on Instagram and like all these
Yeah.
people that were talking about the fucking Jews. And it's like, bro, you would think if it was that fucking obvious, that would be the exact lie. And this
Hmm.
goes back to what you're saying, where like specifically Helge, where he was saying like, yeah, so the fucking truth could be like weirder. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
the easiest thing to believe tends to always be the lie.
Yeah, and it's also like if people are giving you a very simple target, like these people are behind it. I don't care the Illuminati, the Jews, the Muslims, like fucking the baby eating cult. You know, if people are giving you like a monolithic solution of these are the people that are causing all the problems, it's always way, way, way too simplistic. It's like it's
Yeah,
it's you're
reality is
reducing
more
reality
nuanced.
down like way, way, way more. Like whenever somebody gives you like a simple solution of who to blame, like I think you should just it's an invitation to just click off and you know
The
find
timeline of
something
Earth
new.
is hilarious because if you look all throughout history, it's just like taking turns of who's on the shit end of the stick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Because we need somebody to blame.
yeah, it's like someone always has to be fucking blamed.
Yeah, and I get it because if I watch football and my team is doing bad, I notice this instinct popping up like this fucking player, he's so fucking ass. Get him out of this team right
Yeah,
now.
history is just hot potato, bro.
Yeah.
To put it in the dumbest way possible, like
Yeah.
literally everything that's ever happened is a game of fucking hot potato.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We're taking the dice roll on who's the most shit of the timeline. And then we're like, when it gets to the next person, we're like, well, no, our history's justified. We said sorry, but fuck that person.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And that's like my favorite shit with the whole like the Jew hate stuff. Like,
yeah.
bro, the whole like I hate every Jew because they're all in control. That whole connotation is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
That's like saying, bro, I'm gonna shoot all dogs because one bit me.
All right.
Does that make any fucking sense? Like, why do innocent people with pet dogs have to suffer the consequence of what one dog did to you, however fucking
Yeah.
long ago?
And
Yeah.
and some people think this simplistically,
Don't shoot
unfortunately
your
enough.
pet Jews.
God damn it. Alright, bro. Eight pack about to
No.
kill us all, G.
Yeah,
Nah, JK, JK.
yeah.
I love the Jews and whatnot.
I was set up for that one.
No, we're all pulling a diplomatic Uno reverse
Yeah.
card right now.
Yeah. No, we love everybody out here, you know.
Yeah, I
It's
fuck with
all
people till I don't. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
yeah.
Well, anybody, guys. Anyway, guys, I was gonna say I would like to jump off and go to bed
Yeah, I
quite
see that
soon.
I can
Dude,
always
it has
notice.
been a long
Yeah.
ass time.
It's been almost 2 hours. Yeah,
Oh wait,
we've
there's
had a long
one
talk.
thing left though. We never covered the interesting coincidence slash synchronicity that I was hanging out with my youngest brother,
Oh yeah.
and you sent me a voice message or something, and you
Fourth of
read
July.
it. Oh yeah, 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 exactly, yeah. And yeah, I was hanging out with my brother, and like, yeah, this, Redmuun. He messaged me, and he's like, oh
But
yeah,
that was your
yeah.
brother's wedding, right? Not his birthday.
No, 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 no. That was my other brother.
Oh.
My the middle brother, the one below me, he got
Is his
married.
name Ole?
No, no, no. That's the soul brother of both me
Oh,
and Flammeus. But
I just remember that name getting brought up at some point.
yeah, no, no. He comes up on the show. No, anyway, with my youngest brother, I was hanging out, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I know this guy Redmuun. I'm following him." And I was like, "What?" And
Yeah,
it had
I
nothing to
just
do
about
with
shit my
me.
fucking pants, dude.
Yeah, it was so weird because like I mean, not to say that you're unpopular, but you don't
I
have
know
like a
I'm from the most unpopular shit doing the most unpopular thing. There is no fucking statistical basis that he should have knew who the fuck I was out of the
right, yeah,
probability of knowing.
yeah, 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 exactly. And he was like, yeah, he remixed, something of somebody that I liked. So
It's
we
like,
just had
yeah,
our minds blown there for a moment.
it's an Iceland moment. Small
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
I feel like I'm gonna go to Iceland one day, and then I'm gonna play a show, and then somebody's just gonna know me, just
Yeah,
from word
yeah,
of mouth or like because it seems like such a small country, at least
It,
to the point of view
yeah.
of America.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
from
yeah,
the population, certainly, yeah.
yeah.
It's
And that's kind
tan.
of how it's described to me, is that it's kind of like everybody sort of knows of everybody.
Yeah,
It
I
kind of.
mean,
Like you'll
not
run into the same faces a few times a week.
sort of, kind of.
Sort
I
of
mean, if you're in
depends.
the capital, it's less of the case. But if you're anywhere else, then definitely, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah,
mean, I'm in the
So,
fucking bigger city in Tennessee, but I will say when I go to the small towns like Ripley or Halls, like you will see the same fucking people because the
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
population's like 90.
Oh yeah, 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 totally.
yeah.
And yeah.
Well, yeah, my
But
town's like
even in the
20,000. That's
capital.
the second biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, even in the
So
capital.
I forgot. Does Flammeus, you live in Germany or do you live in Iceland?
I live in Germany currently.
Okay,
I live
that's
in a
what. Okay,
city.
I did
I
remember
live in the
that.
city that has the same or similar population to Iceland.
But you grew up in the opposite side of Iceland from Helge.
Yeah, almost, yeah. In the middle of the north, and Helki is from the
I
southwest.
remembered. It, I just knew like where it was geographically. I just didn't know like what the words are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a Northman. We take a lot of
You're
pride
a real
in
Nordic, bro.
our pronunciation. Yeah, yeah. I'm on the edge. I'm
Yeah.
edgy as
Yeah.
fuck, yo.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like
kind.
funny because like, bro, you really do. You could pull off like both like the hippie thing and the Viking thing like simultaneously. It's like, bro, just put a braid on, you're a Viking. Fucking put your hair in a bun, you're a hippie.
Hippie Viking,
I
that's
mean, this
me.
is how I feel when I grow my beard down, like really long. That's when I feel like my Viking DNA starts to kick in.
I don't have any Viking DNA to my knowledge, so I don't think
Oh
I'll
yeah.
ever relate.
Well, we can take that discussion next time because we've had some interesting talks about you have some Celtic roots, and I
Yes,
just
sir.
did a DNA test recently, so maybe it could be interesting to dive into that stuff.
Yeah, we're cousins, bro.
Yeah,
That's what the fuck they told you, bro.
yeah, I think somewhere along those lines, yeah. So yeah, I think we should
Yeah,
end.
I know it's probably late as fuck for you guys. It's 3:14 in the afternoon here.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 10:15 p.m. Just, yeah, not too bad, but also I have dinner to finish and I want to get to it and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
finish a
Well,
composition I was working on before as well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well,
I
we'll
was
let you
cooking up some
go.
fire before this episode, yo.
When aren't you cooking up fire, bro?
Oh, hey. Supportive brotherhood. That's us. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Super appreciate having you on the show, Mooney. Thanks for coming on again. A lot of fun
Yes,
having the
sir. It's always
conversation.
fun.
Good that we
Yeah,
Yeah,
got to take a
fucking
deeper dive
a
this time.
list of
yeah,
absurdity.
yeah. I went into the weeds. I enjoyed it.
No, we didn't go into the weeds, bro. We fucking dived head first.
Yeah, yeah,
We
okay.
broke our goddamn neck on the fall,
God.
Pretty much.
Well, we'll
which is
take it.
why fucking aliens, UFOs, Jews, fucking
Oh, yeah.
everything.
I'm the Benadryl hat man.
The reptilians, the Benadryl man, like
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, no,
yeah, bro. Only
nope.
podcast you'll find the Jews and the Benadryl man in the same fucking episode.
No pet reptiles were shot during this episode.
And no Jews were disrespected. We were
No,
just
no.
completely
definitely not.
hypotheticals.
Yeah.
All. Oh, now it's really starting to sound bad.
No, no, no.
Oh
Cut this
no.
out now.
God, this all right. See you next
I'm
time.
gonna edit that out, bro.
Bye. All right, hold up before you leave. I want to share with y'all a song that I released quite a while ago now. So for my first album back from, was it 2019, I believe? It's the year The Yellow was released, my debut album. And it's a song called Ars Gratia Artis. Ars Gratia Artis. It's
What
a
does it mean?
Latin. It's a Latin phrase which means art for its own sake.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I heard you use that phrase. Okay, yeah, nice.
It's like, and that's very much what this song was to me. It was just this total stream of consciousness, kind of, in that way, Bohemian Rhapsody style, just going from
Oh,
one chapter to the next. Just
I
like,
was just gonna say Bohemian Rhapsody. You beat me to it. Yeah,
yeah, or
that's
like,
what Bohemian Rhapsody is.
Paranoid Android was a big influence as well by
Hmm.
Radiohead. Where they go into all these different. The bridge is just really long and really complex and goes through all these different chapters. It's really
I
cool.
dig it. It's probably the most prog thing I've heard from you so far.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, it was just total stream of consciousness. Yeah. I have this verse and chorus and then I do another verse and another chorus at the beginning, which is like Bohemian Rhapsody does, but then it just goes into a bridge part, which basically just goes on forever and does all these different things and never repeats, and keeps throwing new ideas at you all the time. And I was just sitting down with a guitar one day, and I just kind of stream of consciousness, all of that just kind of came out like that. And I all the lyrics as well, they aren't very thought out, and I don't think they're very good, honestly. I'm not super proud of the lyrics in this song in hindsight. Kind of reflect maybe the lyricist I was at the time. But I kind of like that I kept them in as just, for what they were. Because I just kind of channeled it all like that, and then I didn't go and change the words. I just kept it.
To be fair, I didn't notice the lyrics too much. I mean, I love the million butter knives stuff.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
was
good
like,
line, and
where the hell did that come from? I'm keeping it.
it's perfect. But no, there's so much going on in the song that you don't notice too much of the lyrics. Yeah. Now the ending was what connected the Bohemian Rhapsody thing for me. And so
Yeah.
piano, nothing really matters.
True, yeah, it is very modeled after it, yeah.
Yeah. But did you do the slapping?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Man, I want to hear more slaps. Why have you deprived the world of your slaps?
Yeah, somehow I've never really gone in with the slapping as a bassist.
Shame.
It's something I'd like to explore more, perhaps. But yeah, it doesn't come up a lot for me. But there's certain songs that really call for it. There's two parts in this song, in the weird parts in the bridge that I'm slapping in, and those bits really required some slapping. I was like, there's no way there's a fingerstyle bass line going on this. I need that dunk.
Yeah, I'm categorically pro slapping all across the board. Just give me the slaps, and I'll be happy man.
All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, slaps coming up. Let's actually we could do a collab song where I play some slap bass.
Yes.
How about that?
I mean, I've actually got a few slap bass stuff in my songs as well, so it's
True.
I think it fit right in.
Yeah. All right, let's make it happen. Well, anyway, so I think it's safe to say that this is the only song that I slapped the bass on all of my official catalog. I think.
Special.
I'm not 100% sure, but I can't think of any other one in this moment at least. So yeah, enjoy it while you can.
I don't usually slap, but when I do,
I slapped in a song by Stefan Early called Get Back as well. Made a little slap bass line for him there.
where you once belonged.
Get back to where you once belonged. No, it's how do we get back? About returning to nature by Stefan Early. If anybody wants to check that out. But yeah, anyway, we've yapped enough. Go enjoy art for art's sake.
Stop with the yap and get with the slapping.
Oh, yeah. Well, enjoy, guys.
Kinda strange, the feeling's kinda pure. I feel like I've been deaf inside. I feel like I've been stabbed with a million butter knives. Perhaps you are the one I cannot tell you how, I cannot tell you why, I cannot tell you when or where, but I can tell you who, and that's for damn sure. Yes, you somehow. I ought to let you know that I'm broken, and you are the one I want. I told you so. You are the one I want. Another heart goes by. Oh, stop, give it to yesterday. And not a soul knows why. Won't you stop, give it to yesterday. Stop, give it to I was just about to turn around the corner now. Were you with me then? Are you with me now? I hope I'll never have to speak again. I've got a broken limb on a sinking ship. It goes down, 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 it goes down. I was just about to turn round with my friends, just about to turn when it was late in the afternoon. I hope I'll never have to move again. Hope I'll never have to. It was late in the afternoon, late in the afternoon, late in the afternoon. Oh boy, how long must I strive before I win? How long will it take to let me in? I hope I'll never have to live again. You do it to me. What you do it to me. What you do it to me. What you do it to me. the stone that I left untouched. Another heart goes by. Oh, stop.